Mm-hmm.
Okay, so we're starting Paraktas Zayin, right in the beginning of Paraktas Zayin. And so the last time we spoke about he started off the last parak with the question, why is neshama comes from the word neshima, which means breath, right? If he explained that really the breath of a person is more connected to ruach, to his spirit. And so they said that when we're referring to neshama, which comes from the word neshima, breath, we're not talking about human breath, we're talking about HaKadosh Baruch Hu's breath, meaning the breath that's inside the mouth of HaKadosh Baruch Hu, because that's the source of the neshama, and he gave it us that parable of a glass maker that blows the air into the glass and forms the glass. So the air that's inside the glass has like a is like would be called the nefesh. The air that's in the tube between the glass and the maker is ruach, and the air that's inside the mouth of the maker, that's neshama. So that's how high neshama is. So high, our neshama is so high that it's really within the quote unquote body of HaKadosh Baruch Hu, right? So that's how high, and so we have no real interaction with our neshama, right? It's just that occasionally he said that the person's ruach, the upper part, the uppermost part of a person's ruach, is connected to what he called nitzotze, like the little sparks that come down from the neshama. And when if a person is zoiche to those sparks, he sees the innermost secrets of the Torah, and he's this perfect memory, perfect recall, and he understands everything, and like this, call it nirvana, enlightenment, whatever you want to call it, right? So that's the neshama, which is again comes from word neshima, which means the breath is inside the mouth of Hakadosh Baruch, right? Good. And so the uppermost part of the ruach is really the lowermost part of the neshama, right? And the lowermost part of the ruach is really the uppermost part of the nefesh, okay? And the lowermost part of the nefesh is what's inside our body, is where we really are, okay? Now this next page, basically the first couple of paragraphs of Parak Zayin is really beyond our understanding. So I'm just going to skip around just to get what he's trying to say. So he's going to say like this: "V'amaskilim yavinu." So the first thing he's going to do is going to extend this mashal to a universal idea, meaning that really, I think we mentioned that we said something like once upon a time we discussed that there is some kind of a, let's call it tselem, right? The initial stamp which Hashem used to create all people, we call the tselem Elokim, right? It says betzalmoi in his betzalmoi ube dmusoi, right? It says Hashem created man with his image and with his dmus, with his likeness, right? So tselem is, Rashi explains, that's like the stamp, like the mold that Hashem used to create the human being. So the mold, the initial mold, which is like the abstract idea of a human, right? So that's like there is some kind of a universal abstract idea of a human. So he says, "V'maskilim yavinu," people who are maskilim, meaning people who are enlightened, will understand that not only what I said applies to each individual human being, but also applies b'shor elyon in its uppermost root, meaning in some kind of a universal idea. Shirak b'china tachtoina. Again, I'm just going to read these words because we don't really understand. Shirak b'china tachtoina shel ema bonim, that only the lowermost part of ema bonim, of the mother upon children, soid nishmas chayim alo, which is the secret of the living soul above, he nichneses u'mispashetas b'fnimius ha'odam ha'elyon. This is the only part that enters and permeates the innermost part of the Odom HaElyon, this universal Odom, or this Elyon, the Odom that's up above. Besoy Tosefes, only in a matter of a Tosefes, of an addition. Achar tikun al yidei ma'aseh tachtonim eretzum, but only after this is rectified through the action of the human race as a whole. Right? So he's saying that not only what I said is true on us and on our individual levels, we have in our individual neshamas, because each one of us has its own neshama, quote unquote, which has its own root within the mouth of HaKadosh Baruch Hu. But there's also this universal man, or whatever you want to call it, this again, this initial form, this initial spiritual man, which is, so the neshama of that initial man, quote unquote, is, again, I don't know how to explain this, but is also has the same thing. Also, that neshama of that man is really the pnimius of HaKadosh Baruch Hu, is really the innermost part of HaKadosh Baruch Hu. And then he brings, again, I'm just going to skip the next two paragraphs, because he just brings from different places in different Kabbalistic works that explain this in detail. Okay? And then he says, so I'm just skipping around, and the you see that? Mm-hmm. And so a small part of the neshama of this lofty neshama, choyfeif umakif, it hovers and surrounds umeir la roisha b'kerev makom. It shines upon that person's, that universal's Adam's head. It shines upon the head and surrounds it, and hovers above it in a close proximity. Soid be'atorah she'itru le'emoy, which is hinted to by the pasuk in Shir Hashirim that says that, but it talks about Shlomo Melech, about the crown which his mother crowned him with. Besoid haneshima ve'ahevel hayotz mipe'ima. This is referring to the breath of the breath that comes out from the mouth of the mother. Again, these are Kabbalistic terms. Le'or makif elof, which turns into surrounding light for him. Again, Kabbalistic terms. Again, like I explained above, that the entity of the neshama is the breath of the mouth up above, meaning Hashem's mouth. But really, the most of the neshama is so up high it's concealed. And it's hidden in its source, which is within the mouth. But its light is felt far away. Okay, now we get into something that connects to us, back to world that we can somewhat understand. Now, with this understanding, again, the rest of this chapter is going to focus on this. He's going to focus on this word peh, which means mouth, right? That like he said, that the neshama emanates from the mouth of a Kodesh Baruch Hu. Now you have that idea, you can understand beautifully B'Shmois Rabbah Parshas Mem Aleph. If you look at the Medrash of Shmois, El Pasuk, they bring the Pasuk Ki Hashem Yitin Chochma. The Pasuk in Mishlei says that for Hashem gives wisdom, right? Ki Hashem Yitin Chochma, Mepiv, from his mouth, Das Usvuna, is knowledge and understanding, right? So the Medrash is the following. They said, what is this similar to? Right? And they're darshaning, what does that mean? What does the pasuk mean? That from his mouth is knowledge and understanding. So, what is this similar to? L'melech shehoyo lo ben. It's compared to a king who has a son. Bo b'noi mi beis hasefer. Comes son back home from school. Sees a dish, a nice dish of food set up before his father. So his father notices that the son, would like some too. So he breaks off a piece from his whatever it is that he's eating, and he gives it to his son. The son says back to him, "No, I want what's in your mouth." Right? So what did the father do? He took it out of his mouth and he gave it to his son. So that's what the Medrash explains this pasuk, that mipiv das esvuna, from the mouth of HaKadosh Baruch Hu is knowledge and understanding. That Hashem, as if is giving, just like a father who loves his son so much that he gives even the kosok chaleh be'ezarta, basically, so to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, the knowledge, so to speak, from Hashem comes directly from his mouth. What does that mean?
Meaning it's more special than from his hand?
Right. Where it's mine and I'm giving it to you.
The whole plate was his.
Right, but this is already it was
If they just
right. So Hainu, so he says, so that is, what is the Medrash saying? Shabakosha ben Yakir, this the request of this dear son, lahasik, to grasp, to be connected to sheyushpaba minitzotzi or bechinas haneshama, to be connected from the sparks of light that come from the neshama, which is in the mouth. Asher mekoyer ne'alama b'neshimas pivus baruch Shema, which is the source of it is hidden in the breath of the mouth of Hashem. Right? So again, we see the Medrash works out beautifully the way we explained. Since we said that the neshama is connected to the mouth of HaKadosh Baruch Hu, so then the Medrash falls in beautifully. What does that mean? That the point is, we're trying to symbolize that the neshama, which is the root of it all, comes from HaKadosh Baruch Hu. But now he says, but really, if you pay attention carefully, they hinted in their Lashon HaKodesh something additional here. They didn't say about any child in particular. A child came from outside and he saw his father eating. They said specifically that the child returned from school, davka, and that's on purpose, right? Because they wanted to let us know through that there is no path to connect to these sparks of the neshama, to the light of the neshama, the only way to connect to those lights of the neshama from the mouth of HaKadosh Baruch Hu, only through studying, only through Torah. That's the only connection, right? Kishnehem memekor echad b'hem, and that's the key phrase, because both the Torah and the neshama, they really originate from the same place. Like is known to somebody who understands. Now he's going to go over here. He's going to elaborate on this last point, that the Torah and the neshama originate from the same place. So Hagah. Well, so according to this, Yaskil hame'ayin lehav. Now you can understand al pi poshut in a simple way. Inyan hanizker bezoyher parshas acharei, etc. So he says you can understand the piece of Zohar through this, because it says in Parshas Acharei Mois, Shekutra brichu HaKadosh Baruch Hu ve'oraisa and Torah ve'Yisrael and Jews miskashrin do bedo. They tie into one another. They connect with each other. Okay, miskashrin do. So HaKadosh Baruch Hu, Torah and Jews, they are interconnected. Okay, miskashrin do bedo. So he says, Vada, of course, means you want to truly understand this phrase, you have to understand it's like secrets upon secrets, very deep stuff, right? However, however, with what we've learned so far, we can also be able to have some understanding in this phrase. So what's this phrase? Kikutra brichu hu sotim v'galia. Now, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, he's what's called sosim v'galia. He is hidden, concealed. V'galia means revealed. So sosim means like closed off. V'galia and his revealed. Hashem really has kind of two parts to him, quote unquote. It's not really two parts, but from our perspective, as you'll see, there are two parts. Ki atzmus oden koil, really because the essence of the master of everything, Ein Sof, is without end. Baruch Hu Einoi Musag is not at all. There's no way we can possibly have any sort of connection, of any sort of understanding of what is the essence of HaKadosh Baruch Hu. It's infinity beyond infinity that we can't possibly comprehend. Not even comprehend, we can't even we have no idea what the true essence of HaKadosh Baruch Hu is. V'leis machshavat tfisa beklal, and really our thought has no ability to even what's the word? To have any sense, any grasp or sense in it, right? And this, that we are able to have some taste of it, a little bit. Hurak mitzad his chabrus lo'alomes. It's only because of HaKadosh Baruch Hu's connectedness to the world. Meaning there's a part of Hashem, and it's not really part, but it's called the side of Hashem that's turned and connected with the world, with the creation. That's the part that we are connected with. That's the part that we relate to, right? From the moment that He created them and He made them new. La'achayoisam, to make them. He continues to breathe life into them, ulekaimam, and to keep them kol rega, ulanhigam, every moment, and to guide them. All the worlds that HaKadosh Baruch Hu created. So that's the part that continuously involved with the world. That's the only part of Hashem that we have connected with, because He allowed us, so to speak, by creating the Bria, He allowed us to have some kind of an interaction with Him. Right? There's a part that's, you could say, that's turned to us, and then there's a part that's like behind the scenes that we have no connection with. Right? As it says, "Ve'ata mechaya es kulon," that you Hashem mechaya, you give life to es kulon, to all of these creations. V'lechein, so therefore nishabchehu, when we praise Hashem, right? In Yishtabach, the last phrase of Yishtabach, when we praise Hashem Yisborach, but Tfilasein, in our prayers, we call him Shu Chei Ha'olamim. We call him the Chei Ha'olamim. Chei comes from the word life, but over here, so this is a little complicated. But complicated, I mean, it's not complicated, but it's not clear how to translate this word Chei Ha'olamim. Usually we say Chai Ha'olamim, which means he lives forever. Chei Ha'olamim. So some say it just means Chei. Also, Chei is it's definitely the same shayrish. But what's the difference between Chai, like the necklace, and Chei, which is what we say in Shtabach, right? Baruch Chei Ha'olamim, right? So some say, and this is what he's going with, Chei Ha'olamim means he gives life to the worlds, not that he lives through forever. Olamim means forever, right? Lo'olam vo'ed means forever. Olamim means forever. Over here, he's saying the way to translate this Chei Ha'olamim is that he gives life to the worlds, to his creations, right? Chei Ha'olamim, he gives life. Ki kol kavonas libeinu. So that's why we praise Hashem, the life giver of the worlds. Ki kol kavonas libeinu, because all the kavon of our hearts, b'chol atfilos b'koshes, in all our praise, in all our requests, there's no question that it can only be to the one and only God of the world, who Ein Sof Baruch Hu, which is the infinite Creator, blessed be He. Amnam, however, lo mitzadat smuso is Baruch levad, but not from His essence, really. Because that essence is really removed from the worlds, from the creations, because in that essence the world, so to speak, was never created. It's only from the side that is connected to the world in His will, and His hiddenness within the revealed, so that He can be mechaya them, so that He can give them life. And that's really the totality of the entire service to Hashem and all of the mitzvahs. So we only have, so even within the revealed part, right, there is the hidden part of Hashem, and our job is to reveal that which is hidden within the revealed. But the part that's really hidden, we have like no attachment to. We have a certain, Hashem turned to us a certain, whatever it is, way. He turned to the world, so He turned to His creation, and we interact with that creation, with that part of HaKadosh Baruch Hu that He allowed us to interact with. And that's the part that we call Chei Ha'olamim, the life giver of the worlds.
Like one quality, I guess.
It's not, again, even here it's complicated, because that's why. Let me just say this: why is Kabbalah hidden, right? Why it's called Kabbalah is hidden, or secrets of the Torah? Why there should be secrets of the Torah? Why can't we just lay it all out? Open all the cards. What's going on? Because the answer is, at least one answer is, that because these things are so complex and they're so refined and abstract, that a person it doesn't have first of all the training, or it doesn't have the refined intelligence. It's very easy to fall into, it's very easy to say, oh, there is this part of Hashem and then there is that part of Hashem, and which would be borderline of Avodah Zarah, right? Because it's very hard for us to understand exactly how is this exactly this one God that that one same infinite God has a side that's connected with us and has another side that's not connected with us. No, it's these are. So the reason why these things are secret is because they're not really for everybody. Because if you make this widely available, which some people do, what you're really doing is you're causing these people to really sin, because they're not going to appreciate it, and they're going to take it into a vulgar kind
Just
of
one
simple
quality,
understanding, and they're going to turn it into something. So it's very hard, it's very hard to really verbalize what is being said here, because as soon as you put something into verbiage, you are giving it very defined properties, and this is not very defined. This is intentionally, it should not be so defined, because the Kadosh Baruch Hu is not that defined. Okay, but the point here is that there is a part of Hashem that allowed us to interact with. That Hashem allowed us to interact with, and that part is called Chei Ha'ilomim, the life giver of the world, right? V'chol chiyusam v'kiyumam shel ha'ilomim kulam. So the entire life and the upkeep of all of the worlds that are created, hurak al yidei haTorah Kedosha, can only be achieved with the Torah Kedosha. And only when Jews are involved in it. Why? Because it is the light of all of the worlds. And it's the soul of all of the worlds. And it's the life of all of them. And now he says a very famous phrase. And if the world from one end to the other would be empty, even for a moment, from involvement and thinking of Torah, right? If one for a brief, fleeting moment, there would be no Torah thinking, learning going on in this world, the worlds would instantly resort back to chaos and void. Okay, there would be there would be no way for the worlds to exist. If there would be because the Torah is the thing that brings down the life from that original source of that creation. The Torah is able to bring it down, and that's what keeps it going. So, so to speak, if we go back to that mashal of the glass blower, he has to kind of continuously. It's almost like the glass is going to contract, right? So that and that's the Torah. Kamoshu Amru b'shvila Torah, right? Like we say in the word Bereshis, right? The first Rashi, the second Rashi, really, in the word Bereshis, Borei Elokim Hashem, in the beginning, right? Right? You're familiar with the Rashi. Rashi says, because if you translate Bereshis literally, the word Bereshis means in the beginning of, right? That's how Rashi understands. In the Rishonim disagree, but the most basic literal translation, the word Bereshis means in the beginning of, but then doesn't say of what, right? So therefore Rashi comes up with this, based on the Medrash, comes up with another pshat, that Bereshis over here does not mean in the beginning of, it means because of Rashis, something that is called Rashis, and Rashi brings two things that are called Rashis. One thing that is called Rashis is the Torah. The Torah is called Rashis, the beginning of something. And Yisrael, also Jews called Rashis, right? God's first ones. So Rashi says the word Bereshis over here does not mean in the beginning of. The Rashi's pshat, it means because of Torah and because of Jews, Hashem created the heaven and the earth. That's how you say it. Rashi reads that pasuk, right? So that's what he's saying. He says b'shvila Torah k'mashikosav, and also like we say when we say the second part of the Birchas HaTorah, v'chai olam nota b'sechenu, the eternal life you have planted within us. Kimekor shorsha elyon, because the source and the root of the lofty root of the Torah, he l'mayla mikol olam, is really above the entire creation. So therefore, when right, so since the Torah's source is above the creation, so when it's brought down from that lofty source all the way to the creation, so it gives life, sustenance to all of the layers that it descends through, right? So that's the Torah. So again, so we have a Kadosh Baruch Hu, who is the life giver of the world, right? That's one idea. Second idea, the Torah is also the life giver of the world. How is it the life giver of the world? Because it originates from this lofty source and is brought down through all of the worlds through Torah study. And finally, v'omru gam kein, and the same medrash is b'shvil Yisrael, because of Jews, right? K'moishin is Meyer shall yidei esek odom, because when a person is involved, and talks b'Torah Kadosh in the Holy Torah, who masig lihisnoitzus or bechinas haneshama boy. Then he kind of gets that little connection to those sparks of the neshama. Which, where does the neshama originate? Again, in the mouth of HaKadosh Baruch Hu, in that beginning of creation, right? The mouth, everything was created, quote unquote, with the mouth of HaKadosh Baruch Hu. So therefore, when a person with his mouth learns the Torah, he is able to connect to the original kind of the source of the neshama. La'askiloi be'imkei rozin kadishin delay, in order to enlighten himself in the secrets of the holy secrets of the Torah. She'oz mechuna b'shem Yisrael, then he is truly worthy of the name Yisrael, right? The sar of El, of Hashem, right? The connection, not Yaakov. Yaakov doesn't have Hashem's name in it. Yisrael has Hashem's name in it. Ki yadua b'zoher. Val kol moitze pi Hashem, like the pasuk says. What does the pasuk say? That, right? Lo el alechem levada yichya adam. Not by bread alone does a person eat, but rather val kol moitze pi Hashem. But rather through everything that comes out of HaKadosh Baruch Hu's mouth. Again, here again we're recalling the God's mouth, right? So how does a person live? Through everything that comes out of God's mouth. What comes out, right? Hu bechinas nishmas adam. That's the soul of the person. What comes out of God's mouth? We just said it's the soul of the person. Neshimas pivis baruch, the breath of life that comes out from Hashem's mouth. So then, when a person uses his mouth to learn the Torah, which also emanates from HaKadosh Baruch Hu's mouth, so then it's you have the Jews, you have the Torah, you have Hashem, and they are interconnected one and another. And that's the innermost part of all of the worlds. That's what the Medrash says. The Zohar says, Kutsha brichu ve'araisa v'Yisrael, that HaKadosh Baruch Hu and the Torah and Yisrael miskashrin do, they tie into one another. This is what they said, Bereishis, in the beginning of B'shvil Torah Shnikras Reishis, because of Torah that's called Reishis, or B'shvil Yisrael Shnikra Reishis. So we see this idea. Good. Right? V'zehu she'omru, and now he continues. V'zehu she'omru. This is back in the main text. V'zehu she'omru shom, and this is what they said there. Right? This is Gemara and Shabbos, really. Right? V'zehu she'omru. This is not Gemara and Shabbos, but b'shor she'omdu Yisrael al Har Sinai. Then when Jews stood upon the mountains of Sinai, lekabel as Torah, in order to receive the Torah, hoyu mevakshim l'shmoya dibros mipi HaKadosh Baruch Hu. They requested to hear the words of the Torah from the mouth of HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Right? They didn't want to just get it from Moshe Rabbeinu. They said, no, we wanna hear it directly. U'k'Moshe Kosav, and the pasuk they bring for that, yishakeni min nishikois pihu, kiss me with the lip, with the kisses of your mouth. This is the first pasuk of Shir HaShirim, right? It says, kiss me with the kisses of your mouth. What does that mean? Because when they were standing there, that holy congregation, they were zoicha, they merited shehoya choyfei for meir ol ehem ziv nitzoy tzei zoyher bechinas anashama mnishmas pivis baruch kaviyachol. They were surrounded and lighted up by the light of the sparks of the neshama that came out from the breath of life from Hashem's mouth. And that's really what it's referring to when they said that when they said Knasav and Nishma, each one of them was zoicha to 2 crowns. Those are the crowns. Zochu b'Sinai, v'simchas olam al roisham, and that the eternal happiness was on their head. Okay, so that was the Har Sinai. Har Sinai, when they received the Torah directly from HaKadosh Baruch Hu, that is that moment where they really had that connection, that momentary connection to that neshama that was never repeated since then, because then they lost it after the Chet HaEgel. Val Yidei Kach, and through that zochu lehasik sisre pnimius nishmas haTorah kadoshus, through that momentary kabbalah haTorah that they experienced in Har Sinai, they were zoicha to understand the innermost soul of the Torah Kadosha. Like it says in Zohar, Oraisa Isla Gufa. The Torah has a body. Chakimin Avdei Hamela the Malkai law. Wise are the servants of the loft of the king up above. Inun the Kaimu Betur the Sinai. Those are the ones that stood upon the mountain of Sinai. Lo mistakli ele benishmasa. They where did they look? They looked straight into the soul, with the soul. The iu ikra the kulo arayis mamash, because that the soul of the Torah is really the essence of the Torah. That's what they saw. And this is something that's referred to in many places in the Medrash. Zion hoyolahem besinai v'shem hameforish chokuk olov. That they had a sword with them in Sinai that has the Shem HaMeforish was engraved on that sword. Shu hasaga el yoina b'nishmasa. All that's referring to, that's a symbolic thing about this incredible achievement of holiness that they were able to achieve at Har Sinai through their soul. V'sisrin da'arayis shmo meforish, and the innermost secrets of the Torah is what we call shmo meforish, Hashem's ineffable name. That is the innermost secret of the Torah. So again, now he's getting into very heavy Kabbalistic stuff. Okay, but the point from all of this is that the point of all of this is to tell us that two things, right? That there is this connection, that there is this intimate connection that Jews have to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, because their root, this root of their soul is in Hashem's mouth. The only way to achieve that connection, to really sense that connection, is through Torah learning. Because when a person learns Torah, he also connects with that connection, because the Torah also originates from the mouth. Like the pasuk says, "Mipiv das usvuna." From his mouth is knowledge and understanding. So the only way to connect to that source of the entire creation, which is Hashem, what we call Hashem Chei Ha'olamim, the life giver of the world, is by Eisek Torah, through learning the Torah. That's our connection to HaKadosh Baruch Hu's mouth. That's our connections to the root of our neshama. And through that, we are Mechaya the whole world. Through that, we are giving life to the entire creation. Without that, if the world would cease that for even a moment, then the whole creation would just be sucked right in. Okay, and that's what he's saying. B'shvil Yisrael sheni kreishus, b'shvil Torah sheni kreishus. Okay, so that's the point of over here. Okay, I guess we'll finish this parak, so let's stop here.